Well, it's that time of the year. The leaves are falling, the air is getting crisp, and nothing says comfort more than a tasty bowl of soup. In these next couple of episodes, we're going to be creating various soups that will get you into the autumn spirit. Today's recipe, roasted corn chowder. Traditionally, chowders were made from seafood, but it's not uncommon for any thick, rich, and chunky soup to be called a chowder. Usually they contain milk or cream, and the chowder is thickened by adding either potatoes or flour. To get started, you'll need your cutting board and knife, a baking sheet, a large saucepan, and an oven. Go ahead and preheat the oven, then grease a baking sheet. A simple technique is to use a paper towel to spread the cooking oil over the sheet pan. This mostly helps make the baking sheet easier to clean when it's time to do so, but the technique also aids in the browning process of what we're going to be baking. Pour the frozen corn onto the baking sheet and smooth out in an even layer with your hands. Then sprinkle paprika over the corn until you have an even coating. Paprika is primarily used to add color to various dishes, as well as imparting a slight peppery flavor. Place the corn in the oven for 30 minutes. This step makes a great checkpoint because it can be done right when you get home from work. As long as you stir at least once while baking, the corn can be neglected while you do other things. After baking, don't worry about the corn getting cold. We're going to reheat it once we combine all the other ingredients together. Next, it's time to cut up the aromatics. This time we used exact measurements such as 2 cups onions rather than saying 1 large onion. Let us know which way is more helpful for future recipes. You'll need to cut up the onions, carrots, and celery. Once you finish the aromatics, wash and peel the potatoes. The goal is to cut them into half-inch cubes. One way to do this quickly is similar to cutting onions. Half the potato, then take 1/2 and make 3 to 4 horizontal cuts, then 3 to 4 vertical cuts, while finishing up by cutting the potato crosswise. This makes another great checkpoint, but the potatoes will brown if left out for too long. You can get around this by placing them in ice-cold water, but this trick won't work overnight, so you might just want to wait to cut up the potatoes right before using. We mentioned this before, but don't forget to stir the corn at least once. If you need to, you can always remove the corn early if it's getting too brown. Every oven is different. The corn is done when it's slightly browned and reduced in size. Begin to heat a large saucepan over medium heat and add 1 tablespoon of oil. Place the bacon strips in the pan and cook until crispy, then remove them. Normally, the rendered baking fat is enough to grease the pan, but we have quite a bit of aromatics to cook up, so the initial oil we added is necessary. Add the onions, celery, and carrots and stir over medium-high heat. Once the onions have become translucent and the carrots have softened, pour in the stock. Increase the temperature to high until boiling. The vegetables will continue to cook while boiling, so you could rush the earlier step. Taking the time to let the onions sweat will add a lot of flavor to the soup, and by cooking the vegetables thoroughly, you're reducing the amount of moisture, leaving a more intense tasting vegetable. Once boiling, add in the potatoes and the roasted corn. Crush the bacon with your fingers over the pan. Finish up by adding the bay leaves, thyme, salt, and black pepper. Stir together all the ingredients and let simmer for about 20 minutes, or until the potatoes are easy to mash. At this point, use a potato masher or the backside of a spatula or a spoon to crush the potatoes. By smashing the potatoes, you're releasing starch, which will help thicken up the soup and reach that perfect chowder consistency. Another step which will help the chowder reach its hearty potential is by adding milk. If you really wanted a rich and creamy texture, you could substitute the milk for half and half. But if you do so, I would recommend scaling back the portion by at least half. We even tried it with soy milk one time, and it did the trick as well, if you want a dairy-free option. Whatever you choose, bring the chowder to a boil one final time once the liquid has been added. For serving, dish out a ladleful of chowder with a good mix of vegetables and liquid. Sprinkle some chili powder over each portion and top with minced jalapenos. We used canned jalapenos and minced them up quickly before serving. This adds a bit of heat which goes well with the sweetness of the roasted corn and the creamy chowder. Like always, if you have any questions, let us know in the comments. We hope our roasted corn chowder keeps you warm this fall. Alright, Leisure Gamers, see you next time.